As humans, we're always holding out for a hero, as the great philosopher Bonnie Tyler so succinctly put it. And sometimes normal people are compelled to stick their necks out to make a stand, like the lone German man standing up to Loki, or that bloke who went out shopping and ended up stopping tanks in Tiananmen Square. These people deserve to be adored and showered with appreciation because their actions and their sacrifices had a positive impact on the world. But then there are those who stride out as heroes to absolutely no benefit at all, jumping on grenades that were never going to explode anyway, or even worse, laying down their lives when the battle is already won. They might still be heralded as heroic, but that doesn't hide the fact that their great acts of sacrifice were entirely f***ing redundant. I'm Adam Wilborn from Whatculture, and these are 7 heroic acts in movies which made absolutely no difference. Number 7. Data killing himself, Star Trek Nemesis. Star Trek Nemesis wasn't supposed to be the final movie for the Next Generation cast, but then the box office spoke and the franchise was killed off faster than a red shirt. That said, Nemesis was supposed to be the final film for Brent Spiner, who stated ahead of release that he no longer wanted to play the series' android officer Data as he was getting old and felt he could no longer convincingly play an ageless character, which led to the rather extreme decision by Data to fly across space and sacrifice himself to take down Shinzon's ship, when alternative approaches existed that wouldn't have killed him. You okay, hun? Clearly, that narrative silliness was done in order to acquiesce to Spiner's demands, which turned out to be pointless anyway when the TNG movie series was abruptly ended. And importantly, even if the Nemesis sequel had been made, please God no, Spiner would have still had to turn up to film since the script introduced B4, another android played by him, who replaced Data at the end of the film, rendering his functional death a waste of my bloody time. Number 6. Alexander Knox helps out Batman. Gotham Globe reporter Alexander Knox pretty much only exists in Tim Burton's Batman universe for comic relief. He's annoying, only mildly entertaining, and nowhere near as funny as he should be. Knox does get his own moment of heroism, however, when the Joker's parade is revealed to be a plot to gas all of Gotham's citizens. Knox manages to defy the Joker's plot by using the high-tech solution of putting a fucking handkerchief over his mouth. He then tries to take on some of the clown's goons, who become unfeasibly scared of him. Really? Look at the state of him. I could beat him up, and I've been described as a Harry Potter-looking ass. He is thus heralded a hero, right up to the point where he ends up on the front of Vicky Vale's car bonnet, knocked unconscious. Knox would have been a lot better just running away with his makeshift mask in place for all the good his heroic stand did. And he didn't get the girl. Number 5. The hero train passengers, Spider-Man 2. When Doc Ock has set Spidey on a one-way train journey designed to kill him, the web-slinger once more relies on the kindest of New York's residents to save him from his enemy, just as he did in the first movie. He's a pretty superhero all in all, eh? Anyway, they muster as much pluck as they possibly can and attempt to stop the returning Octavius from taking the exposed maskless Spidey away to Harry. Now, unlike in the first film, when the angry citizens are able to at least partly put Green Goblin off his stroke and buy Peter some time, in the sequel, the interaction goes something like this. You'll have to go through us first. Fine. The point of that sort of heroism is symbolism, of course, but at some point you should probably weigh up the likely outcome of you versus a man with 4 mechanical killing arms, especially as the concerned citizens achieve precisely dick. Number 4. Kevin's mom puts herself through hell to get home. Home Alone. In the grand scheme of things, the heroic sacrifice that Kate McAllister makes for her son in Home Alone is not the most extreme. She doesn't lose her life, or even any limbs, disappointingly, but within the logic of the film, it's a major sacrifice. Whilst the McAllisters' parenting makes the Osborns look like model parents, Kate desperately attempts to make it cross-country to provide aid and love to what is, quite clearly, her favourite child. Eventually, she realised she must live everyone's worst nightmare. travelling with a polka band. Her trek is only marginally better than that of Tom Hanks's crew in Saving Private Ryan, and she arrives battered and emotionally bruised, happy in the knowledge that if she'd waited with her family, she would have arrived home to Kevin a whole 2 minutes later. Number 3. Magneto's entire army dies. X-Men: The Last Stand. The definition of heroic here is up for debate, but there's no doubting that Magneto and his Brotherhood of Mutants believe themselves to be in pursuit of the most just cause in Brett Ratner's Wayward threequel. They were the self-appointed heroes of mutant kind, united in their efforts to stop humankind from wiping them out at a genetic level. Try being ginger. And they were willing to do whatever it took to protect their kind from total annihilation. Magneto used that commitment to his advantage, sending his army of pawns to their deaths against the human army and Professor X's band of X-Men, who for some reason ignored all precedent to believe that humans could live in peace with mutants if they were just given the chance. When will you learn? Tens, if not hundreds, of mutants met their end on that battlefield as Magneto and his two powerful sidekicks, Pyro and Phoenix, stood and watched. Despite the fact that Phoenix could have basically f***ing blinked and made all of the army and the X-Men cease to exist in about a nanosecond. All of those Brotherhood heroes died for precisely no reason. They didn't gain any advantage, and they didn't even need to sacrifice themselves in the first place. This is precisely why Magneto gets such a bad rep. The helmet with a helmet. Number 2. No More Terminators, Terminator 2. In one of the most enduring sequences in sci-fi movie history, the end of Terminator 2 sees the titular cyborg giving an uplifting thumbs up as he heads to his fiery doom in the same smelting pot that has just killed the superior T-1000. I'm not crying, you're crying. Despite being the perfect bodyguard who could have saved Sarah Connor and her son further issues, the Terminator is resolute that he has to be destroyed to save his parts from falling into the hands of the wrong people, which works out really well since Skynet is then never invented and the whole future timeline where the machines take over is completely averted and everyone lives on in peace, casting only slightly suspicious looks at their toasters. Except that doesn't happen at all, does it? Judgment Day is merely changed to another date later on in the calendar and the world still falls to war between man and machine. F*** you, toaster! So all that emotion, the hugely symbolic thumbs up pose and all, only succeeded in delaying the inevitable, whilst a Terminator would have been remarkably helpful for the Connors around the house. Then again, maybe it was just a last-ditch attempt by Arnie to avoid the shit that followed. Number 1. Ripley's Ultimate Sacrifice, Alien 3. There's something about throwing yourself into a fiery lake of doom that makes for an iconic image. I know it, Arnie's T-800 knew it, Gollum knew it, and the female badass to end all female badasses, Ellen Ripley, knew it too. By the end of Alien 3, Ripley was a shadow of her former self, haunted by the needless deaths of her little space family and probably unable to have a pleasant night's sleep. So when she learns she's carrying a xenomorph embryo and has a chance to be killed, as long as she helps Dylan and his crew kill the other adult creature, she is more than happy. Ultimately, Ripley ends up having to kill herself and the embryo to make sure that the alien can't grow up and be used as a biological weapon, and everybody lives happily ever after. And that's our list. Oh no, wait, until the sequel, when Ripley is roused from her peace along with the alien and has to contend with these idiots who want to use the xenomorph for study because they have no idea about anything. Honestly, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Am I the only one around here who f***ing gets this?